Well, welcome everybody. I'm Phalados. I'm down here in the console, and today I'm going to be demoing Vagabond's Quest Dungeon of Despair. And hopefully people will show up because right now I've got 0 viewers, but hopefully people will come. I'm going to go ahead and just log in and get this party started. Essentially, what I've done here is I've integrated with ChatGPT and put it as kind of the storytelling layer inside a broader role playing game called Vagabond's Quest. For those of you that were around in the mid to late 90s, it was a game back on the internet that was purely text based. It had both pit fighting and a Dungeon of Despair there. And that version of the Dungeon of Despair, all the levels were manually created by me. In this case, there are two AI systems at work here. One is an AI system that's actually building the dungeon itself, building the rooms, populating the rooms, figuring out the puzzles and challenges to produce. While ChatGPT is the storytelling generative text AI layer. Was a little worried about this, as they said they resolved the issue uh, a little bit ago, but still looking to have some issues here. How's it going, Snicker? This might end up being a very bad live stream, just because ChatGPT API is actually not functioning very well right now. So this might turn into more of a question and answer session while we sit here and wait for it to respond, which has been known up to be 5-10 minutes at times. So if you have questions, go ahead and ask. Otherwise, I will just ramble on about the funs of integrating with external APIs and the problems that it causes and the Murphy's laws that are obviously in play right now. Speaking a little bit more about the AIs, right now the world generation API is, or the level generation API is actually fairly trivial. It does a slightly different job than a procedural generation would do. Sometimes it comes up with very interesting dungeons, and sometimes it comes up with very bland dungeons. Uh, One of the advantages of it is that I won't know what's going to happen in the dungeon. I kind of know the scope of what can happen, but not directly what's going to happen, which is exciting for me as a game player. We finally got our first room, so let's start our adventure. Xanthia, with fierce and determined. Sorry, I can't speak English today. Xanthia, the fierce and determined adventurer, had been traveling through the treacherous terrain of the Dragonspy Mountains for days. Her mission was clear: to rescue Princess Amelia from the clutches of the dreaded cultists of Mir. As she drew closer to their fortress, Xanthia could feel the weight of her responsibility bearing down on her. The weight was thick with stench and decay, and the darkness was impenetrable, save for the dim glow of her magical flames. Her heart pounded with anticipation and fear as she approached the entrance to the cult's dungeon, her legendary axe and mace at the ready. She knew that beyond these walls lay a labyrinth of traps and horrors designed to protect their sacrificial offerings from any who delved venture there. But Xanthia was not the only one, not one to be deterred. She had a princess to rescue and a kingdom to save, and she would stop at nothing to succeed. As Xanthia stepped through the narrow entrance, her eyes adjusted to the dim light of the torches. She surveyed her surroundings, taking in the eerie sight of the serpent statues that flanked the green ruined door. The door itself appeared ancient, made of thick stone that had been worn smooth by centuries of use. Xanthia knew that getting past this door would be no easy feat, but she steeled herself for the challenge. The giant stone obelisks in each corner of the room were imposing and mysterious, their purpose unknown to Xanthia. She wondered if they held any significance to the cult's rituals, or if they were simply decorations meant to intimidate any who dared enter. The narrow, winding stairway led up to the entrance was treacherous, with occasional torches carved into the cliff face, barely enough light to see by. Xanthia had to be careful not to trip or lose her footing as she ascended the stairs. For a moment she paused, taking a deep breath and steeling herself what lay beyond the green ruined door. She knew the danger and uncertainty awaited her, but she was determined to rescue Princess Amelia and put an end to the cultist Amir's nefarious schemes. So now we have a few options. This is the room description. Point of interest is over here. UI is very, very crude at this point. It's mostly just here to expose the capacity to go through the dungeon. As an assassin, we'll go ahead and try to pick the lock, just to see if it happens. Xanthia examined the green ruined door, her fingers deftly working at the lock. Despite her best efforts, however, she could not get the mechanism to bust. Frustrated, she stepped back and surveyed the door once more. It was then that she noticed the faint shimmering of magic emanating from the ruins etched into the stone. The door was enchanted. No wonder her lock-picking skills had failed her. Xanthia cursed under her breath, knowing that she would need to find another way in. She couldn't help but feel a sense of foreboding. If the entrance was this well protected, what other dangers lay ahead? Obviously, we've got some obelisks here. I'm going to go ahead and examine them. Hopefully ChatGPT responds quickly, and it did. Xanthia's gaze was drawn to the giant stone obelisk in the northeast corner, its surface humming with an otherworldly energy. She couldn't help but feel that there was something significant about this obelisk, something that was deeply tied to the dungeon's dark and ancient history. As she approached it, she could sense that this obelisk was part of a greater purpose, connected to other items within the dungeon in some mysterious sequence. But what was the purpose of this item? Xanthia knew that she would need to discover the answer if she hoped to successfully navigate the cultist Amir's dungeon. Let's go to the Nest obelisk and see what it brings. Xanthia's gaze lingered on the giant stone obelisk in the southeast corner, its surface pulsing with a mysterious energy. She sensed that this was no ordinary stone monument, for it was imbued with supernatural powers. The hum seemed to beckon her closer, and she wondered what secrets it held. Little did she know that this obelisk was one of 3 ancient artifacts that would lead her closer to her goal, but only if she could unlock their secrets and uncover their true purpose in the cultist Amir's dungeon. Let's go to the final obelisk. If you guys have a suggestion on the order to interact with these, I'd be happy to hear it. Xanthia's gaze was drawn to the giant stone obelisk in the southwest corner, its surface humming with an otherworldly energy that sent shivers down her spine. She couldn't help but feel that there was something significant about it, like it held the key to unlocking a greater mystery within the dungeon's depth. As she approached, she caught a faint glimpse of a glowing sigil etched into the stone, hinting at a connection to the other objects within the dungeon. Gonna just do 1, 2, 3. See what happens. Again, waiting for ChatGPT. Hopefully it's not gonna puke on me again, but probably will because of Murphy's Law. As far as the chance, I'm not going to reveal the exact chance because I don't know. But it's designed to be pretty low for that door. But I have picked it before, if that's one of your broader questions. It can be done. Just not this time. Somebody will pick it, though. Spinning, spinning, spinning. Now I have dead air time to fill. The chance is based on not the character's skill level, but how many locks they've picked. So it keeps track of your lock picking skills in the background. Xanthia approached the giant stone obelisk in the northeast corner, her hand outstretched. As she touched the cool, smooth surface, a sudden surge of energy coursed through her body. A beam of green light shot up from the top of the obelisk, illuminating the room in an eerie glow. Xanthia watched in awe as the beam of light seemed to pulse and shimmer, but despite its power, the door remained stubbornly locked. She realized that this was just one step in a greater sequence, and that she would need to find the other items connected to the obelisk if she hoped to unlock the door and rescue Princess Amelia from the cultists of Mir's clutches. Let's go ahead and interact with the second one. Picking lock is also an assassin-only feature. So unless you're an assassin, you will not be able to pick locks. Xanthia hesitated for a moment before reaching out to touch the humming obelisk. As her hand made contact with the cold stone surface, a sudden surge of energy coursed through her body. She gasped in surprise as a bright beam of green light shot out from the top of the obelisk, illuminating the door with an eerie glow. However, to her dismay, the door remained stubbornly locked. Xanthia realized that there was more to unlocking this door than simply activating the obelisk. She would have to explore deeper into the dungeon and uncover its secrets if she hoped to rescue Princess Amelia and put an end to the cultists of Mir's dark plans. Hopefully this works. Xanthia couldn't resist the urge to touch the giant stone obelisk in the southwest corner, her fingers running over its surface as she tried to decipher its secrets. Suddenly, the obelisk hummed with a new kind of energy, and a beam of green light shot out from the top of it, connecting with the other obelisks in the room. A low rumble shook the walls, and Xanthia watched in awe as the stone door, covered in ruins, slowly creaked open. She knew that this was no coincidence. Her actions had triggered some sort of sequence that had finally unlocked the door to the cultists of Mir's inner sanctum. All right, we can now move through, which I will do now. New room. And I am just drawing a map over here so I can keep track of everything that we've done. Ooh, we've got a guard to fight. As Xanthia stepped in the room, she is immediately struck by the eerie atmosphere. The flickering light of the golden braziers cast shadows across the wall, making the green ruins on the stone door appear to dance and writhe. The unlocked archway on either side of the room led to darkness, their depths shrouded in mystery. The serpent statues flanking the door seemed to stare at her with unblinking reptilian eyes. The room is devoid of any other features or furnishings, giving an impression of emptiness and abandonment. The braziers themselves are the only source of warmth and light, their flames burning brightly in contrast to the darkened walls. Xanthia felt a sense of unease wash over her, as if she had intruded upon a sacred space. She takes a deep breath, steeling herself for whatever lies beyond the doors and archways, and steps forward. One guard stands in the center of the room, their eyes locked on Xanthia as she enters. They wear dark leather armor and wield a short sword with deadly proficiency. The guard's face is obscured by a black hood, making it impossible to discern any features or emotion. Their stance is tense, ready to strike at a moment's notice. Xanthia can feel the guard's unyielding hostility emanating from their very being, and she knows this will not be an easy fight. Let's go fight, which is something you guys have not seen yet. So we've got a battle grid. It is me versus the guard. I'm going to go ahead and sear and flame bolt since I have range abilities. And now I'm going to stab and slice. And he is almost dead. That was too easy. Xanthia's quick reflexes and mastery of both fire magic and her legendary weapons prove to be too much for the guard, who falls to the ground defeated. She breathes a sigh of relief, knowing that this battle was necessary in order to rescue the princess from the cultists of Mir's dungeon. Though she is saddened by the loss of life, she knows that it was either her or the guard. Xanthia takes a moment to honor the fallen and continues on her mission with renewed determination. All right, we've got some things we can look at here. Let's go ahead and examine the golden brazier. This is the only place that's blocked. Xanthia's eyes narrow in focus as she gazes at the golden brazier burning brightly in the southeast corner, the flames dancing and crackling with an otherworldly energy, casting a warm glow across her face. She seems lost in thought, her mind perhaps contemplating the significance of the brazier or pondering the dangers that may lie ahead. Her grip tightens around her legendary axe and mace, ready to face whatever awaits her in this dark and this place of darkness and mystery. Doesn't seem particularly interesting to me, but if you guys want me to interact with it, let me know. I just examine the other one. Xanthia's gaze is drawn to the golden brazier in the southwest corner of the room. The flames within it crackle with an energy that seems to reach out to her. Mesmerizing, she stares into the fire momentarily, forgetting her mission and the dangers that surround her. The warp emanating from the brazier envelops her, and for a moment she feels as if she could stay there forever, lost in the dancing flames. How's it going, Stan? Welcome. Do you guys have a preference on which way I go? I think I'm just going to continue to go west. See what happens. There wasn't anything too interesting in that room. As Xanthia entered the room, she felt a chill run down her spine. The room was dimly lit, with the only source of light coming from the golden brazier burning brightly in the northeast corner. The flickering flames illuminated the room, casting eerie shadows on the wall. The center of the room held a large pool of pure running water, with a fountain in its midst that spouted water from its mouth. Xanthia could hear the sound of water as it fell into the pool, creating a soothing melody that was both calming and haunting at the same time. The room was dominated by two unlocked archways, one to the north and another one on the east wall, which appeared to lead to other areas of the dungeon. However, the rusting iron door on the west wall was locked, and Xanthia could only guess what horrors lay beyond it. In the southwest corner of the room, there was a sturdy wooden chest, which appeared to be the only source of treasure in this desolate room. As Xanthia looked around carefully, she felt her senses heighten, fully aware of the danger lurked in every corner of this dark and foreboding dungeon. As Xanthia scanned the room for any potential dangers, her eyes fell on a single shadow hound. The creature was black in color and had sleek, muscular body. Its eyes glowed red in the dim light, and its sharp teeth were bared in a vicious snarl. The hound stood ready to pounce, its powerful legs coiled and tense as it waited for its prey to make its first move. Its fur bristled with anticipation, and Xanthia felt a shiver run down her spine as she realized the danger that lay ahead. Battle time. And we've got a Shadow Hound this time. Once again, I'll open at range. And hopefully this battle will go well. Put my dots back up, and victory. Xanthia faced the Shadow Hound, her heart racing with adrenaline as she prepared for battle. The hound was fast and cunning, dodging her attacks with ease, but Xanthia was skilled and determined, and she struck the hound with her legendary axe and mace, dealing heavy blows that weakened it. The hound lunged at her, its sharp fangs bared, but Xanthia was quick to dodge its attacks. With one swift motion, she plunged her weapon into the hound's heart, releasing it from its cursed existence. The hound let out a pitiful howl before collapsing to the ground, finally defeated by Xanthia's bravery and skill. She stood victorious, though not without feeling a pang of regret for taking a life, even one as dark and twisted as this Shadow Hound. All right. Let's examine the chest. See what it holds. Xanthia's gaze fixed on the sturdy wooden chest in the southwest corner. It seemed unremarkable, just another chest in a dungeon full of them. However, her instincts told her otherwise. In this treacherous place, anything could be a trap or valuable treasure. She cautiously approached the chest, her hands hovering over the lock, wondering what secrets it held within. Uh, do you guys want me to open the chest? I'm examining the fountain as I see what you guys want. Xanthia's gaze was fixed upon the fountain, mesmerized by the pure running water that flowed from it. The water sparkled in the dim light as if it was illuminated by magical aura. It looked crystal clear, as if it had been drawn straight from a mountain stream. As she stared at the fountain, an unfamiliar feeling of peacefulness overtook her, making her forget the dangers lurking in this dungeon. However, she did know that there was more to this fountain than what meets the eye, and its ties to the cultist Amir were more profound than she could have ever imagined. I'm going to go ahead and drink from the fountain, just because it sounds reasonable. It's a pure running fountain. Seems like a good thing to do. I don't think there's going to be a dimensional item in there, but maybe. That would be the first dimensional item that the game has ever generated. Odds are very, 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 very slim on dimensional items, and it looks like OpenAPI is struggling again. Yay! This demo is going so well. I would piss my pants if I got a unique. Heck, I'd probably piss my pants if I got a legendary and just a random chest in a dungeon like this. But you never know. You never know. I will definitely open the chest as soon as the drink goes through. Which could take 5 minutes, which is terrible downtime in a live stream. I drank the fountain of OpenAI as having problems that they thought they resolved, but still are present apparently. The chests will let you kind of know their quality. Sturdy wooden chests are the lowest level of chests. There are levels of chest above that have higher quality loot in it, or at least higher base chance quality loot in it. Obviously, any chest can give a dimensional or a unique or a legendary, but it has a lower chance if it's a sturdy wooden chest. If it presents as a nicer chest, it will have a lower base. So the sturdy wooden chest generates greens by default magic. There are better chests possibly in this dungeon that would generate rares as though the lowest item that they would generate. Xanthia approached the fountain, drawn to its pure, clean water. She dipped her hand into the pool and brought it to her mouth, taking a sip of the liquid. As the water flowed down her throat, she felt a sudden jolt of energy coursing through her body. She felt reinvigorated, as if all her injuries had been healed. She touched her wounds, and to her surprise, she found them greatly diminished. Xanthia was amazed at the healing properties of the fountain and knew that it would be a great boon to any adventurer who stumbled upon it in their travels. However, little did she know that drinking from the fountain would also have consequences that were yet to reveal themselves. And it replenished my entire HP pool. We will go ahead and open the chest now. Xanthia took a deep breath and slowly opened the sturdy wooden chest. She half expected to be met with an ambush or a powerful spell, but instead she found only a handful of coins. Disappointment washed over her for a moment, but she quickly reminded herself that every little bit helped in her quest. She carefully pocketed the coins, knowing that they would come in handy later on. With a sense of determination, she closed the chest and turns her attention back to finding the princess and completing her mission. 5 silver ain't bad. Let's go ahead and, for sake of brevity, just interact with the stone door on the west wall. So we are blocked on the south. And open everywhere else, hopefully. Sorry about my pin clicking. Drinking from the fountain is a one-time deal per life. So if you die, you can come back to the fountain and drink from it again. But it won't replenish itself, at least currently, until you die. Xanthia approached the rusted iron door on the west wall, her fingers running along its rough surface. As she touched it, she felt the rust crumble away, revealing an intricately designed puzzle beneath her. Her eyes widened as she studied the puzzle, her mind racing to decipher its meaning. The door had clearly been deliberately concealed, and Xanthia knew it was imperative that she solve the puzzle if she wanted to progress any further into the dungeon. With a deep breath, she began to work the puzzle, knowing that every second counted in this dangerous and treacherous world. As you approach the rusted iron door, you notice a peculiar puzzle etched into the stone wall beside it. 4 runes rest on small pedestals in front of the puzzle, each depicting a different symbol: a rainbow, a moon, a star, and a fire. The puzzle itself is a series of 4 slots, each adorned with an intricate carving that seems that the rune stones must be placed into the correct order to unlock the door. As you ponder the order of the rune stones, a poem etched into the wall catches your eye. Amidst the night sky, glittering light, a star shines bright with all its might. But when the flames begin to dance, the rainbow colors start to prance. And as the moon begins to rise, the flame will start to hypnotize. So heed these words and don't delay, and you'll unlock the door and find your way. So I'm guessing star, flame, rainbow, moon. Nope. That is not it. Flames begin to dance, the rainbow colors start to prance, and as the moon begins to rise. So it might be this, but nope. Alright, not going to waste time here. I'm just going to go through all the hints. And we had 2 right and 2 wrong. So it was star, moon, flame, rainbow. Which just means we'll get almost no XP for solving that puzzle. Xanthia's fingers deftly manipulate the rune stones, carefully placing each one into its correct slot on the puzzle. As she works, her eyes are locked on the task at hand, her mind racing as she tries to decipher the clues and unlock the rusting iron door. With a final twist and turn, the last rune stone clicks into place, and there's a loud click as the door unlocks and swings open, revealing the dark and foreboding passage beyond. Xanthia takes a deep breath, raising her axe and mace in readiness, and steps forward into the unknown. I almost had it, but for the sake of brevity, wanted to just move on. Might as well keep going west, since that's the path we've been on. The reason why, after all the hints are exhausted, that it just tells you the solution is because the AI that generates the puzzles can sometimes give too cryptic of hints, and I don't want people to get caught and stuck. Xanthia stepped in the room. Her eyes were immediately drawn to the north wall, where an ornate oval mirror with a silver border hung. Despite the dimly lit room, the mirror seemed to glow with an otherworldly light, almost as if it held some magical power. To the right of the mirror was a rusting iron door that creaked ominously in the stillness, seeming to lead to some unknown destination. Turning her attention to the south and west walls, Xanthia saw 2 archways, both unlocked and beckoning her to explore what lay beyond. In the southeast corner of the room was a desk with an ornate chair. as if someone had been working there recently. The northwest corner of the room held a golden brazier, flames flickering brightly and casting dancing shadows on the walls. The room was otherwise empty save for a few items, leaving Xanthia wondering what secrets and dangers might lie ahead. She took a deep breath and prepared herself what lay beyond these curious doorways. All right. Let's do the desk first. So the northway is blocked. Xanthia's eyes narrowed as she focused on the ornate chair and the desk in the northeast corner of the room. The chair was carved with intricate designs, and the desk was carved in symbols and sigils that she couldn't quite make out. It looked as though someone had been working there recently, and she wondered if it held any clues as to the whereabouts of the princess. She made her way over to the desk, her heart pounding with anticipation. Nobody, Stan. That's been me paying the entry fee into the DoD. And testing out the Dungeon of Despair over and over and over and over again. 25 coins at a time. Oh, come on, ChatGPT, respond to me. There are times where I do hundreds of them in a day. So I've probably burned way through more coins than that. It just hasn't registered them all. But I think I've got enough. I think I've got plenty of coins. And I can always give myself more. And yes, this is the actual cost of the dungeon down here in the lower left. That is what the API calls have actually cost me so far. Come on, OpenAPI. I might be revealing a little bit too much here, but in essence, to fill dead airtime, the desks actually hold the potential for revealing some information that is not otherwise accessible. This is a small dungeon again, Snicker. It is definitely the small dungeon. Because those take about 2 hours to get through in reading aloud. So fills up a nice 2-hour live stream pretty well. Although this one might take a little longer because of OpenAI. But what can you do? Murphy's Law. Did you not enjoy the mirror journey last time? Anyway, the desk can sometimes reveal interesting information. Xanthia carefully examined the ornate desk in the northeast corner, searching for any clues or information that might lead her closer to rescuing the princess. As she rummaged through the drawers, her finger brushed against some coin. Something cold and hard. Pulling it out, she found a key that looked like it might fit the rusted iron door on the east wall. Although with the key, that she also found a handful of coins that could prove useful in her travels. She tucked the item away safely and took a deep breath, ready to continue her quest. So, got some coins and a key. So the key might be interesting. Do you want me to avoid the mirror this time, Sneaker? You haven't corrected me on either of them. So, hopefully, this is probably going to be another puzzle. Oh, mirrors are fun, though. Mirrors are lots of fun. So we have a mirror up there. And so far, this is the map, which is not very well filled in yet. Lots of avenues to potentially explore. I also have 4 rooms we have not been into yet. And this could take forever, but that's okay. What else can I talk about to fill the time? I've kind of been flying through the fights, but that grid uh, fight pattern is actually pretty powerful. It will allow me to implement that in the arena, as well as adding potential boss battles that would be group V1, so as many players that want to take on the boss as possible. Yes, there is going to be an auto mapper, Stan. That is one of the features that I will be implementing post initial alpha release. But I am very keenly aware of how important auto mapping is. But until then, pens and paper. Yes, the boss fights are going to be incredibly hard. We'll see some of that if I actually have to fight some of the harder creatures in this version. Xanthia's gaze remained fixed on the rusting iron door, its surface covered in a thick layer of dust and cobwebs. She could sense that it had not been opened in a long time, and yet as she felt the pull towards it as if it had been answering the questions burned into her mind, as she stepped closer to the door, she could make out the faint scratch marks on its surface, adding to the mysterious, and it's actually already unlocked for us, which is interesting. We will keep going west, because that's been our pattern so far. See how far west this passage goes. Ooh, we've got our first NPC we can talk to. Xanthia stepped into the room, her eyes adjusting to the dim light. The first thing she noticed was the heavy oaken door on the north wall, locked tight and seemingly impenetrable. On the opposite side, an ornate oval mirror with a silver border hung on the west wall, reflecting the flickering flames of 2 golden braziers that burned brightly in both corners of the room. On the south wall hung a portrait of Mir herself, ruling over the underworld with a fierce and unforgiving expression. Xanthia shuddered at the sight, feeling a sense of unease in the presence of such a powerful deity. The only exit from this chamber was the unlocked archway on the east wall, leading to an unknown destination beyond. Xanthia held her legendary axe and mace tightly, ready for whatever lay ahead, as she continued her search for the kidnapped princess. Xanthia's footsteps echoed through the room as she caught sight of a crazed cultist standing near the portrait of Mir. The cultist was dressed in ragged robes, their unkempt hair falling in tangles around their face. Their eyes were wide and bloodshot, as if they had seen horrors beyond imagination. Despite their frenzied appearance, the cultists seemed curious about Xanthia's presence, watching her closely, but making no attempt to move or attack. Should I talk? Guess I'm going to talk. A name you have given, but true or not, I cannot say. So this is some of the fun with ChatGPT. All the AIs kind of have their own personality, and this one is very crazy. Do you know where the princess is? The princess is in the chamber of Mir, hidden from the light. Can you take me to her? Only the chosen may enter, those devoted to Mir. Are you one of them? Of course I am. Why else would I be here? Dun, da, da, dun. And good times. Good times. Oh, the chats are actually really interesting and fun when they are nice and snappy. But I wish OpenAI was not having problems today. It has responded with that occasionally, Stan. Prove your devotion to Mir, and then I will lead you to the chamber. Bring forth an offering of blood and recite the ancient chant of the cult. Um, Holds up a vial of blood and begins to chant. Oh, powerful Mir, accept this offering of blood and sacrifice in your glory. Let's see what happens. I am so gaslighting the AI right now. But we'll see if it believes me or not. Yes, you can emote in the conversations. It does understand RP syntax. Which is good times. Good times. Wow, we're already 45 minutes into the stream. But all I can do is wait and talk about things. I have had that happen before where there was this one time I was throwing muffins at the cult leader. Yes, throwing muffins at the cult leader. And uh, the cult leader sent guards to try to attack me, and I threw muffins at the guards, and it caused the guards to stumble and fall, and Mir was summoned by all of the commotion. It was freaking hilarious and amazing all at the same time. It's why I really like this integration with uh, AI and the natural language of it. Uh, it is very, very capable of adapting to and creating very, very interesting circumstances. Mir did not give me the option to throw muffins at her. She probably would have bit my head off had I tried. Oh, the some of the interesting things that I'm particularly doing is that I am only using ChatGPT for the generative text, and there is the overarching RPG system of Vagabond's Quest, as well as the a separate system that actually builds the dungeon and holds all of the context of what you've done, uh, which makes this a little bit more unique than some of the other uh, AI dungeons that are out there, which is kind of cool. But we'll see if people actually like it when I release it. I'm hoping. I'm hoping. But you never know. I'm also curious as to building the community. So doing the whole like, rate, review, subscribe thing. Join us on Discord if you want to hang out and uh, participate in the closed alpha that will probably be coming in 2 to 3 weeks. Fingers crossed on that one. And this is certainly taking a long time. Got a lot of dead air to fill. But yeah, so very much trying to grow the community and get more and more people interested in this. Uh, Sorry, reading your question. Is there any kind of backup you can use to prevent this lag when opening? Not really. Nothing is out there as comprehensive as ChatGPT. Uh, I am working on limiting the number of calls that I need to make. Uh, some of that's going to be in the user interface changes that I make. Uh, Secrets there, but if you've seen the grid fight system, you can probably tell where I'm going to go with the interface. It will eliminate some of the API calls that I need to make. How long has this request been out there? It's been out there almost 5 minutes. Whew. Yikes. Maybe I'll have to redo this demo again. And they're still saying they don't have a problem and that they have resolved it. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Hey, it finally replied. The offering is accepted. Follow me. But do not stray from the path or suffer the wrath of Mir. Wow. I actually gaslighted the AI. And I don't actually have to fight the crazed cultist now. Amazing. What do we want to do first? Let's examine Mir's portrait. Although he didn't actually take me to the chamber. Xanthia's eyes fixated on the portrait of Mir, the goddess of the underworld. As she stood in complete silence, her gaze followed the lines of Mir's fierce expression and her serpentine-like features. Xanthia couldn't help but feel a sense of unease, knowing that the cultists worshipped this deity and offer regular sacrifices to appease her. She quickly tore her eyes away from the portrait, reminded her of her mission to rescue the princess, and determined to press on. Should I interact with it, or just leave it be? Let me know. Xanthia's gaze was fixated on the golden brazier in the southwest corner of the room. Its flames cackled with an intense energy, illuminating her face with a warm glow. Her mind was focused solely on the flickering flames, wondering if they held any clues to her next move. She couldn't help but feel drawn to its mesmerizing allure, wondering what secrets it held within its fiery depths. Okay, interacting with the portrait. Xanthia's fingers brushed against the cool canvas of the portrait of Mir, the goddess of the underworld, as she tries to steady her racing heart. As she touched the surface, a sudden jolt of energy surged through her body, causing her to recoil in shock. She then realized that the cultist had imbued the painting with some sort of mystical power, and that touching it had been a grave mistake. With a newfound sense of caution, Xanthia stepped away from the portrait and continued on her quest to rescue Princess Amelia, determined to avoid any further pitfalls along the way. So, nothing interesting there. We will try this golden brazier. Brazier. Spinning, spinning, spinning once again. Good times, good times. Why, on all days, to have OpenAI have an issue? Did it have to be on my live stream day? But Murphy's Law, right? Murphy's Law. That there will be many more. there will be many, many more live streams. I'm very anxious to actually get to the Unreal Engine version of the game, but right now, trying to get all of this working, because a lot of the AI systems are going to be identical between the two, which is going to be a lot of fun. But I am a little sad that if this keeps up, that we won't actually be able to make it through the entire dungeon unless we stay till like midnight. It should be like a 4-hour long stream, and probably very, very late for people out on the East Coast. Lucas Black, did you play the original VQ back in the 90s? Oh, come on. 51. It's only been 2 minutes. Just be patient and wait for the spinning thing. I know in the patron only live stream my mic wasn't particularly good. Did switch to a different mic. Hopefully it's better. If not, please let me know, and I will continue to try to improve my audio quality. The arena chat was the original way back in the day. Don't know if you ever tried the old Dungeon of Despair or not, or if you've tried the new arena or not. Oh, come on, OpenAI. You can do this. It's only a little request. Volume is at max, but I can try to increase the gain a little bit if it is a little quiet, but I will adjust that later. I just know that in the patron only live stream that people are complaining about my audio cutting out frequently. Did not want that to happen, so got a new mic, which is right there, just above camera view. Oh my goodness. Why could things not just be smooth? Well, hopefully everyone will like the new DoD and playership will go up, because this is my full-time job now, which has actually been really exciting and really fun. Have been enjoying every minute of it, even the late nights and the early mornings and the live streams, although still need to get comfortable being on camera and actually reading the text and being on these live streams, but something I'm working on. Try to confront your fears head on, right? Just go do it. Oh my goodness. It's almost been 5 minutes, which is the timeout, which means it'll make another request here. But maybe Bard will be a good way. As Anthea surveyed the room, her gaze was drawn to the golden brazier burning brightly in the northeast corner. Its flames crackled with an energy that seemed almost alive, flickering and dancing in a mesmerizing display. She couldn't help but be entranced by the sight, wondering what secrets lay hidden within the flames. For a moment, she was lost in thought, considering the possibilities that lay ahead. But with a shake of her head, she refocused on her mission and pressed on. All right. Nothing on the wooden door, so that remains locked. So we need a key to open this door. And every other way is blocked here. All right, let's go back. And let's go south. And see what this room holds. Hopefully with fast responses from OpenAI. But does not look like it. There we go. 2 shadow hounds. Uh-oh. As Xanthia stepped into the room, the overwhelming sense of emptiness permeated through the air. The only decoration in this chamber rests on the south wall, a large, ornate, oval mirror bordered by silver. The reflection in the mirror was uncannily clear, but something about it feels off. She couldn't quite reflect, as if it not quite reflecting reality as it is. Sorry, I'm making note of where mirrors are. As the north wall is home to an archway that is left unlocked, leading deeper into the dungeon. On the east wall, there is a rusting iron door that appears to be locked tight, its hinges creaking with age. The west wall is adorned with 3 ornate silver doors set in stone archways, intricately carved with interlaced serpents. Each door appears to be locked and devoid of any handles, leaving Xanthia with no obvious way to open them. The room's atmosphere is eerie and unsettling, like it's waiting for something to happen. As Xanthia gazes around the locked doors and rusting iron doors, she can't help but wonder what secrets lie in this chamber. As Xanthia's eyes adjust to the dim light, she spots 2 shadow hounds lurking in the shadows. These hounds are otherworldly creatures of pure darkness, with furs black as night that seems to absorb any light that touches it. Their eyes glow with menacing red, and their long, sharp claws glint in the low light. The hounds bare their sharp teeth, ready to attack at any moment, and Xanthia can feel their malevolent energy pulsing through the room. She knows that these creatures are formidable foes, and she must be cautious if she wishes to come out of this battle alive. Gonna go fight. 'Cause I have no choice. And here we go with another request that's taking too long. Most of the time the requests are coming back within a second or two, but not today. Not today. But we did find the 3 doors and plenty of ways out of this room. West wall is adorned, so west wall is adorned with the 3 doors. Those are locked. We have a rusting door that's also locked, and an archway that is unlocked. Of all the days. Of all the days. So I can start asking questions of you guys of you kind of have seen a little bit of this version of the DoD now. Does it remind you of the old school DoD at all? Or does it feel like a completely new and foreign adventure? Does it scratch the nostalgia itch at all? I guess is what I'm asking. Gonna scorch that shadow hound and scorch the other one. This one took more damage, so I'm gonna focus him down. And that one's gone. Now I can focus on the other one. And barely alive. Victory! Very, very easy. Xanthia's eyes narrowed as she faced the shadow hounds, its pitch black fur blending in with the darkness of the dungeon. She raised her legendary axe and mace, ready to strike. The creature lunged towards her, but she was ready. With a swift movement, Xanthia dodged and struck the shadow hound with her axe. The creature let out a deafening howl, but Xanthia didn't falter. She continued her attack with precision, using her fiery wizardry skills to weaken the beast. Finally, the shadow hound fell, defeated. Xanthia breathed a sigh of relief and continued on her quest to rescue the princess. So we've got another mirror, And we have the iron door on the east, so south is blocked. And we have an iron door to the east, so let's go ahead and interact with that. Did you enjoy the original DoD, Stan? And what do you like more about this one? Xanthia tentatively reaches out to the rusting iron door on the east wall, her fingers grazing the rough surface. As she does, the rust crumbles away, revealing a hidden puzzle beneath. The metal beneath her touch is cool, even as the thrill courses through her. She runs her hand over the newly revealed sections, wondering what secrets they may hold. The rust seems to have been a mere barrier for what lay beneath, and Xanthia can't help but feel excited about the possibilities of covering something incredible. Xanthia, you have come across a grand chamber within a medieval dungeon. In the center of the chamber is a large rusted iron door. Upon closer inspection, you notice that there are 4 slots in the door, each depicting a different element: fire, water, rainbow, and purity. One of the slots before the door are 4 runestones. Each runestone is intricately carved and glows with its respective element. Your intuition tells you that placing the runestones in the correct slot will unlock the door. As you pick up the runestones, a riddle comes to mind. In every drop of water and every burning flame, there is a hint of magic of colors that remain. To open the door and pass the ancient test, place the stones in the order to give the rainbow rest. I'm just going to go fire, water, rainbow, purity, but that's not it. Water, flame, purity, rainbow? Nope. We will just exhaust the hints again and see. Everything's wrong. Everything's still wrong. There's 2 right. So it was rainbow, purity, water, fire. Sorry for not taking the time to iterate on these puzzles. There's a lag between YouTube and myself, and that would just take too long. So sorry about that. Do that on the patron only live streams, because those are real time. But for the sake of brevity, just going through those. Xanthia looks at the 4 runestones and the 4 slots with the rest on it. She knows that she must use her wits to solve the puzzle. She takes a deep breath and starts to manipulate the runestones, trying to figure out the right order to place them in. She knows that the purity runestone represents a counter opposite element to the certain runestones and blah, 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 blah. With each stone in place, she feels a strange energy emitting from them, as if the elements themselves were responding to her touch. Finally, after placing the last stone, she hears a loud click and the door slowly swings open, revealing what lies beyond the darkness of the dungeon. Xanthia takes a moment to savor her victory before stepping through the unlocked door and continuing on her quest. All right. We will go east. See what east brings. As Xanthia stepped in the room, she noticed the strange arrangement of the braziers burning brightly in each corner. The room itself was empty, save for the archway to the east wall, and a locked, heavy oaken door on the south wall, and the rusting iron door on the west wall. The walls were made of rough stone and cracks and crevices that seemed to go on forever. The air was damp and musty, with the scent of decay lingering in each corner. The golden braziers flickered with an otherworldly flame, casting long shadows across the room. The flames themselves seemed to dance and writhe in a hypnotic pattern, drawing Xanthia's attention to them. She could almost hear a faint whispering sound emanating from each brazier, as though they were speaking in some ancient language. As Xanthia realized that these braziers may hold the key to unlocking the doors and archways in this dungeon. She approached the nearest one and peered into its fiery depths, searching for any clues or hints of what lay beyond. So we have archway on the east wall, which we can go through, iron door on the west wall, which we came through, and a wooden door. Ooh, we can already unlock this wooden door. Interesting. We already had the key to this one. Xanthia was a force to be reckoned with, as the heavy oaken door unlocked with a soft click and slowly swung open. Her silhouette emerged from the darkness. Her leather armor glinted in the flickering light of a nearby torch, revealing her lithe and agile physique. Her legendary axe and mace hung at her waist, ready for action. As she stepped through the doorway, her steely gaze surveyed the room with fierce determination, ready to face whatever challenge may lay ahead. This is one of the things that I don't necessarily like, is sometimes the AI embellishes and makes you walk through a door instead of just opening it, but by and large, I think it actually does a really good job. Don't know why I'm interacting with these, because I know they can't do anything good. And just wasting time communicating with OpenAI. Guess I shouldn't reveal too many secrets. But, sometimes fun things come out in live streams. Are you calling my HTML bad back in the 90s? I have learned quite a bit since then. Quite a bit. And HTML has also come a long, long way. Web development has come a long way since the mid to late 90s. Have any of you guessed at what I'm thinking of for the final AI yet? Now that we have grid-based battles? Probably not. Come on, AI. Good times. Good times. This is gonna be a 5-minute timeout. I have a feeling. Which means I got 3 more minutes of airtime to fill. So haven't completely decided on it, but it's going to have a very old school RPG feel to it, just like the gridded combat does. We will see how it turns out. Why OpenAI? Why? And you don't even think there's a problem. But obviously there's still a problem. Has the green screen freaked any of you guys out? Where it's half green screen, half not green screen? It's kind of fun. And I can sit there and do other fun things like vanish. Woo. And now I'm back. It's magic. I can go do that again and pretend I'm a magician. The things people do to fill dead air time. Don't look behind the curtain. Oh, good times. Good times. Uh, how do you guys feel the AI is doing in the storytelling aspect of it? Forgetting my terrible reading aloud of the text, or putting that aside. Reading text aloud is not one of my strong suits. It's actually all the ideas boards are that side of the camera. This is just covering uh, artwork and other things that I don't necessarily want on camera, i.e., messy room. But probably we'll be getting a second green screen to actually cover this side. I could move the green screen so it actually covers everything, but then it was like right behind me and I had no room to move around and felt fairly claustrophobic, which did not make me comfortable. And I figured I should probably be comfortable on a live stream. Xanthia fixated gaze on pollen, blah, blah, blah. Burning brightly in the northeast corner, the energy emanated, crackled in the air, causing the hairs on her arms to stand on edge. She observed the flame dancing within the confines of the brazier, almost as if it was alive and had a will of their own. She couldn't take her eyes off it, feeling drawn to the strange power that seemed to emanate from it. So, nothing interesting. We will head east and see what this holds. This is my dungeon right now, with the new room of unknowns. Another shadow hound. As Xanthia entered the room, she couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. The air was thick with a musty smell, and the only source of light came from a dimly lit torch on the wall. Her eyes were immediately drawn to the east wall, where a tapestry depicting the underworld hung. It showed scenes of people being guided into a blissful afterlife by hooded figures carrying lanterns. It was both beautiful and eerie at the same time. The unlocked archway on the west wall caught her attention next. It was strange that such an important room had no other exits or items within it. As she approached the archway, a chill ran down her spine, and she couldn't shake off the feeling of being watched. She wondered what horrors awaited her on the other side of the archway, and whether she was ready to face them. With a deep breath, she stepped forward, ready for what lay ahead. As Xanthia entered the room, she noticed a shadowy figure lurking in the corner. The creature was a shadow hound, its black furs blending seamlessly into the darkness around it. Its eyes glowed an eerie red as it looked into Xanthia, ready to attack. Its teeth were bared and drool dripped from its jaws. As it crouched low to the ground, Xanthia could see its muscles rippling under its coat, ready to spring at any moment. She knew that she had to act quickly if she wanted to survive this encounter with the Shadow Hound. Good old Shadow Hound. Attack at range. And maybe finish you off. Nope. Yay, victory. Sorry if I'm going through the combat too quick. If you guys want me to stop on the combat a little bit longer and explain what I'm doing, I'm perfectly happy to do that. Just let me know. But we're back to spinning. All the days. I can kind of talk through it here, but obviously you've got the grid. When you select a target, it shows up, or now it vanishes, of course. Xanthia stood firm, gripping her legendary weapons tightly as the Shadow Hound approached. It was a fierce battle, with the creature lunging and snapping at her with razor-sharp teeth. Xanthia dodged and weaved, using her agility, and quick reflexes to avoid the deadly strikes. She struck back with precision, landing blows that gradually wore down the hound's strength. Finally, with a mighty swing of her axe, Xanthia dealt the finishing blow, striking the creature in a vital spot. The Shadowhound let out a final howl before collapsing to the ground, defeated. Xanthia breathed a sigh of relief and silently thanked her training for allowing her to emerge victorious from this intense battle. What do we have here? We just have a tapestry. Let's go ahead and interact just because. Xanthia cautiously approached the tapestry, her fingers hovering over the intricate threads depicting the underworld. She could feel the soft texture of the fabric and the weight of the fibers in her hand as she touched it. A strange sensation washed over her, like suddenly understanding of what lay beyond. She wondered about the people depicted in the tapestry and whether they were truly at peace. It was a beautiful yet haunting sight, and Xanthia couldn't help but feel drawn to it. She stood there for a moment, lost in thought, before finally pulling away and continuing on her journey. So, nothing else of interest in here. Interesting. So, we will backtrack and go south and see what this room holds. As Xanthia stepped in the room, the first thing that caught her attention was the heavy oaken door on the north wall. It was slightly ajar, as if someone had just passed through it. The room was dimly lit, but the golden braziers burning brightly in the southwest corner provided enough light for her to see her surroundings. The room was empty except for the brazier and the doors. To her right, there was a rusting iron door on the east wall that appeared to be locked from the other side, and to her left there was an archway leading somewhere unknown. The room had a musty smell to it, and the walls were made of stone that looked like it had been untouched for centuries. The air felt heavy and thick, almost as if it was weighing her down. Xanthia knew that she had to make a decision on which way to go next. Should she try to open the rusting iron door, or should she venture into the unknown through the archway? She took a deep breath and prepared herself for what was to come next. So that's the one we came through. We will interact with that and try to unlock it. Hopefully this doesn't take too long to reply. But no such luck. Good times. Does this feel at all like the old school DoD? Is it scratching the nostalgia itch at all? Although it's a little hard when you guys aren't actually playing it and just watching me play. But you guys can kind of get an idea, hopefully. Spinning, spinning, spinning. Oh. And I guess I can see how the Trailblazers are doing, but pretty badly would be my guess. Do 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 do. I guess I could just ask if you guys have any questions for me right now. I think this is the first time a couple of you have seen the dungeon at all. Oh boy. Good times on the spinning. 3 minutes in. When I'm looking down like this, it means I'm looking at the server logs to get an idea of where things are at. When I'm looking over here, that means I'm actually looking at chat. No, Stan, I haven't. Pretty nuts. Pretty nuts. Didn't know we were gonna fill the downtime with meme jokes or TikTok jokes or whatever the heck you want to call them. Do 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 do. The amount of dead time I could cut out of this video would be astonishing. But I'm almost 4-0, which means I'd get new abilities soon, which is exciting. Spin, spin, spin. I very much apologize for the bad demo, but nothing I can do about it. I think you're right, Sneaker, that I'm going to have to find an alternate source for when OpenAI has issues, because this is just painful. It's either that or DoD is closed right now, which would not be very fun for people that just want to play. As far as features that are kind of a requirement before alpha, need to get potions working. Right now, the only way to heal is if you can find like a fountain to drink from, or the like, or just passage of time, which heals you very, very slowly, which can become a problem if you're hitting combat after combat after combat. So need to add potions so you can actually drink a potion and restore some of your health. But potions have cooldowns, so you can't drink endless potions. Need to implement books. One of the mysteries of this dungeon you can't actually solve without some of the lore, which is fun. I mean, I guess you could solve it through trial and error, but the lore actually gives the secret away. Loading and saving of dungeons, so you can do a few rooms of the dungeon, put your phone down, pick it back up, and resume your dungeon. Those are beyond the UI improvements, those are kind of the only big features that are left. And if you're wondering why I'm looking that way, that's because that's where the idea board is. I did not hear about the fire at the shoe factory. What happened? Oh, boo. 10,000 souls were lost. Yeah. I know you're trying to pass the time. I'm doing a very bad job of it myself. But, where's the time the request made was at 1952. It's now been more than 5 minutes, which means we're at a 10 minutes of downtime. 10 minutes of downtime unless this thing responds soon. Down for maintenance it is. Just makes me sad. But and this is always the danger when you integrate with third-party systems is you now have a dependency on that third-party system to be up. And in all fairness, the chat API is in beta. They haven't even officially released it yet, so there's no SLAs or anything else. Next time an AI comes up, I will tell it dad jokes. How's that? Not that I know dad jokes. Not that I know dad jokes. It'd be hilarious. And you can have a lot of fun with the AIs. We already gaslighted one today by making it think we were part of the cult when we obviously are not. Oh my goodness. This is terrible. I need to have more things to talk about apparently than just hoping that the AI system's up and running. There we go. Finally. Xanthia tentatively reached out and touched the... Where's my mouse? There's my mouse. Rusted iron door on the east wall. As her fingers brushed against it, the rust crumbled away in her hand, revealing a hidden puzzle beneath. The metal beneath looked ancient, with intricate markings etched into the surface. Xanthia realized that this was no ordinary door, but something far more complex. She took a step closer, studying the markings and trying to decipher their meaning. Her instincts told her that this was an important clue, one that would help her navigate the dungeon and find the princess. She took a deep breath and began to work on the puzzle, determined to solve it, no matter what. Xanthia, you have entered a dimly lit room and notice a rusted iron door on the other end. In front of the door, there are 4 levers embedded in the wall. And the first one on the left is already pulled down. You realize that the levers need to be pulled down to open the door. As you inspect the levers closer, you notice that each lever has a different symbol etched into it: a moon, a sun, a star, and a comet. You also notice that some of the symbols appear to be interconnected with each other. So 1 is in the correct spot and 3 is not. So let's pull a lever. Okay. That one toggled. That one and that one along with it. That one just solved the puzzle by toggling the 3 that were up. And here I thought I was going to have to actually solve a puzzle. But I think that's the first time anyone has seen the lever puzzle. So congratulations for that. First time level puzzle has been demoed to anybody. And AI is being slow again. Hey, we've got a Zuko. Welcome. A wild Zuko has appeared. And spinning. Hello. I'm down here on the console. What, Stan? So the secret on the lever puzzles, Sneaker, is that all the levers interact with other levers. So you have to figure out which ones are chained to be able to solve the puzzle. It just so happened that when I pulled the 3rd lever, it toggled all 3 and solved the puzzle. The lever puzzles, because of their complexity, always shows you which levers are in the correct state versus not. Sometimes the hints are useful, sometimes they're not in the lever puzzles as well. It was designed to be cryptic. My guess is if we asked more hints, it might have revealed more information. But I usually just manipulate the levers and figure out their interactions and then solve it that way, because I have a mathematical mind being a software engineer, so I can tend to solve it faster that way. But, slowly spinning. Man alive, this makes me want to run my own large language model instead of relying on ChatGPT. Yes, that is correct, Snicker, that you get full experience if you use no hints. And then with each hint, it essentially goes down a monster level. So it starts out at boss level. You ask for one hint, it goes down to normal level. Ask for another hint, and it goes down to minor level. And if you ask for a hint beyond that, it goes down to trivial level, which basically means you get no XP. So using hints is just might make you take less time solving the puzzle, but you will learn less XP. Yep, you can trial and error it and get full XP. There are some puzzles that will have a limited number of actions you can perform. And if you take that many actions, it will disable the puzzle and not let you pass through that door. So in those cases, trial and error might be a bad thing. Oy. It seems to be getting worse again, too. There was a time when it was doing pretty good, but it seems to have regressed back to failing lots. Which means we're close to the 5-minute timeout. Let's see if they've got any status update. Nope, they still seem to think their system's fine. Good times. Just to elaborate on that more, Sneaker. The AI that generates the dungeon layout knows when a door needs to be passed through or not. If a door needs to be passed through, it will not give you a puzzle that has either a puzzle that can't be solved or a puzzle that you can make it so you can't pass through the door. So it won't give you one of those puzzles that only have a limited number of moves to solve. But if the door doesn't have to be passed through, then it might give you either a puzzle that can't be solved outright, or give you a puzzle that has a limited number of steps or limited number of tries you can make to solve it. That way, if the door is locked, all you're losing out is any information or loot that might have been hidden behind that door. But it would not prevent you from solving the entire dungeon itself. If that made any sense whatsoever. Yay, finally. Xanthia's fingers deftly maneuvered the levers, trying different combinations to see which ones would work. She pulled down the lever with the moon symbol, and then the one with the star symbol. She paused for a moment, considering her next move. After a moment's thought, she pulled down the lever marked with the sun, and then finally the one with the comet symbol. Suddenly there was a loud click, and she knew that she had solved the puzzle. The rusting iron door slowly creaked open, revealing a dark passageway beyond. Xanthia took a deep breath and readied herself for what lay ahead. All right. So, wait a second. This archway is locked now. It was open. Xanthia's gaze was fixated on the archway with a locked and powerful magical force field. She could feel the energy emanating from it, pulsating with otherworldly force. Above the door, there was an inscription that circled a sundial with the numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 inscribed on it. Xanthia knew that this was a puzzle of some sort and that she needed to figure out the solution if she wanted to proceed through the archway. She studied the inscription carefully, trying to decipher its meaning and unlocking the door. And we just clicked over to 3. That's why it's now blocked. Doors only open on even hours. As Xanthia stepped into the room, her eyes were immediately drawn to the grand bookcase that lined both the north and south walls. Woohoo, we get bookcases this time. They were towering, stretching up to nearly the ceiling and overflowing with ancient texts and tomes of all shapes and sizes. The smell of old parchment and leather filled the air, reminding her of a library from a time long ago. The room was otherwise empty, save for the rusting iron door on the west wall. It looks as if it hadn't been opened in years, and the hinges creaked ominously as she approached it. The door was unlocked, and she pushed it open with a grunt of effort. A musty smell wafted out from within. She paused for a moment, peering into the darkness beyond, before steeling herself and stepping through the threshold. All right. Examine or interact with the bookcases, because we have a dead end. Xanthia's eyes scanned the bookcase on the north wall, taking in the countless books and tomes that lined its shelves. She couldn't help but feel a sense of awe at the sheer amount of knowledge contained within, wondering what secrets and stories were held within the dusty pages. She aimlessly reached out and brushed her finger over the leather-bound books, feeling a faint thrill of excitement at the thought of all the knowledge and power that could be contained within the pages. Interact! We'll see if there's anything fun here. Yep. As Xanthia began to search through the books on the grand bookcase on the north wall, a sudden movement caught her eye. One of the books had come flying off the shelves and was now hovering in midair, its pages fluttering as it was if caught in the breeze. Startled, she took a step back, reaching for a weapon as the book began to speak. It posed a riddle in a soft, eerie voice that echoed through the room, challenging Xanthia's wits and testing her resolve. She stood there, rooted to the spot, listening intently at the book's words hung in the air. What is always in front of you but cannot be seen. We have one guess, by the way, too. That's what the one remaining is. The future is always in front of you but cannot be seen. Correct. As Xanthia confidently answered the question posed by the floating book, it suddenly fell to the floor with a loud thud. But as she approached it, she noticed that it was no longer a book, but a small golden chest. She couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement and curiosity as she gazed down at the ornate chest at her feet. Without hesitation, Xanthia knelt down and picked up the chest, admiring its intricate designs and the way it glimmered in the dim light of the dungeon. She wondered what treasure it might contain and what secrets it held within, but for now she decided to keep it close at hand, tucking it safely away in her pack before continuing on her quest. I will just go ahead and open the chest. With a sense of anticipation, Xanthia knelt down and carefully opened the small golden chest. As she gazed inside, she was momentarily disappointed to see only a single item, a pair of rare leather pants. But as she picked them up, she quickly realized the value of her new loot. The pants were finely crafted with intricate stitchings and a supple feel that promises both comfort and protection in her adventures to come. She couldn't help but smile as she imagined herself wearing them into battle, knowing that they would give her an edge over her foes. With the pants safely stowed in her pack, Xanthia rose to her feet and continued on her journey. We will go ahead and interact with the next bookcase. So before Sneaker, you were asking if chests had different values. This is a golden chest. It actually has a higher baseline than the wooden chest that we found earlier. Although it's supposed to contain jewelry because Xanthia is in a level to be able to get jewelry. It gives other items. So not only can chests have certain rarity bases, they can also give specific types of loot. In this case, the small golden chest will always give rare jewelry. So rings and amulets of rare or better. Unless you aren't level 10, in which case it does not. Xanthia moved to the grand bookcase on the south wall, her fingers trailing over the spines of the dusty tubes as she searched for anything that might help her on her quest. Suddenly a book came flying off the shelf and began to hover in midair. Her eyes widened in surprise as the book spoke to her in a soft voice, asking a riddle that she could not quite make out. She stared at it in confusion, wondering if she was hallucinating or if this was some sort of magical trickery. But deep down, she knew that she had to solve this riddle if she wanted to uncover the secrets held within these walls. And it gave us the same riddle twice. How wonderful of you. You'll see if that is correct. And it is, and it's the same thing. We will go ahead and open the chest and see what happens. And I am now level 4. Go me. Xanthia hesitated for a moment, her hand hovering over the small golden chest. She knew that opening it would be dangerous, but she couldn't resist the temptation of whatever lay hidden inside. With a deep breath, she flipped the lid open. Inside, she found a pair of rare leather boots. They were sturdy and well made, with intricate designs etched into the surface. Xanthia couldn't believe her luck. She had heard rumors of these boots, but never thought she would actually lay her hands on them. She slipped them on, feeling the snug fit and the way they molded perfectly to her feet. With a satisfied smile, she turned to continue her journey through the dungeon, eager to see what treasure lays ahead. So, again, AI is embellishing a little bit. I did not actually equip the boots. But there's nothing else here. And we can't go through that door right now, so we will have to backtrack quite a bit. Back to the fountain and go north. I am trying to get us through this dungeon. We will see what's here. Two guards at least. As Xanthia stepped inside, she noticed how eerily silent this room was. The only sound are her own footsteps and the crackling of the golden brazier in the northeast west corner. The room is dimly lit, with the only sources of light coming from the burning braziers and a few small torches mounted on the wall. The atmosphere is musty and stale, as if no one has been in this room in a long time. The archway on the south wall leads to a dark corridor that seems to go on forever, with no visible end. The archway on the west wall seems to lead to another room, but it's impossible to tell from inside from where Xanthia is standing. In the southeast corner of the room, there is a sturdy wooden chest which appears to be locked, but upon closer inspection is not. Apart from these objects, there is nothing else in the room. It seems like it was simply a passageway connecting two other areas of the dungeon. However, Xanthia can't shake off the feeling that she is being watched. Xanthia glances towards the two guards blocking her path. Both of them are towering figures clad in heavy armor that glints menacingly in the dim light of the room. They stand with their swords drawn, ready to attack at a moment's notice. One of the guards is bald and has a bushy beard, while the other has long hair tied back in a ponytail. Their expressions are cold and calculating, showing no signs of mercy or hesitation. Xanthia knows that she must tread carefully if she wants to make it out of this room alive. And now I've got two guards to fight. Okay, I'm going to stab one, which is a dot, and scorch the other, which is a dot. And now I will scorch that one and stab that one. And now these guys are tough. I might die. And I'm going to focus fire one down because I think I'm going to die. Yep. I'm going to die. You're dead, but I am not going to make it through. Miss. Yep. They got me. They got me. They were hard. They hit like trucks. Part of this is now I'm in level 3 gear when I'm level 4. Xanthia fought with all of her might and determination. Determined to rescue Princess Melia from the cult of Samir dungeon. She swung her legendary axe and mace with precision, but the guard was a formidable opponent. The guard countered her every move and struck back relentlessly. Despite her best efforts, Xanthia was unable to land any significant blows, and the guard quickly gained the upper hand. With a swift, precise strike, the guard landed a fatal blow on Xanthia. Xanthia collapsed to the ground, her body racked with pain. Her wounds were too severe, and she knew that she was going to die. As her life slowly slipped away, she whispered a prayer to her gods, hoping that they would grant her peace in the afterlife. The guard stood over her for a moment, then turned and walked away without a word. But Xanthia's story was not over yet. In the depths of the dungeon, time seemed to stand still. After what felt like an eternity, Xanthia's eyes fluttered open, and she gasped for air. She sat up slowly, feeling confused and disoriented. She had died. That much was clear, but now she was alive again. Xanthia shook her head, trying to clear her thoughts. She didn't have time to dwell on what had just happened. She needed to find Princess Amelia and get out of this dungeon alive. Xanthia stood up, shaking, shakily, and took a deep breath. She had died once in this dungeon already, but she wasn't going to let that stop her. She tightened her grip on her weapons and set off once again into the darkness, ready to face whatever lay ahead. Yep. So 1, 2, and up, and you guys will notice something. Since I did kill one of the guards, he is now not in that fight anymore. So now it is 1v1. So the guard death was permanent. And now I got to play this right. Otherwise, I might lose again. Just in case you guys thought the battles were going to be trivial. But yeah, that's the continuity of the system that I've built, keeping all the context. Whereas if this was all the context was just kind of in ChatGPT, it might not have actually been able to know that one of those guards was dead. You are absolutely correct, and I'm going to drink from the fountain and get healed. Now we are back in this room. Chest, examine or just open? I'll let you guys make that determination as I examine the brazier. Do you want me to examine or just go for opening the chest? And yes, it does make a difference. Although we might have 5 minutes to decide now. You guys really want the mimic. But the mimic is now horrifying because it now has an image associated with it. But now you guys are like, now you must find the mimic. Do you really just want me to open it? 5 minutes. Come on, OpenAI. Like I said, most of the time these are 1 to 2 seconds calls. And then it's done. But not today. Not today. Not today. But yeah. So as far as combat goes, Xanthia is a very dot heavy class, being an assassin and fire wizard. So what I normally try to do is put my dots up on as many targets as I can, and then when one gets low health, focus fire it down. So you'll see me use Scorch, which is the fire's dot ability. Oh, we're done. Xanthia's eyes were drawn to the golden brazier burning brightly in the northeast corner. She can't help but stare at it as it crackles with energy, mesmerized by the swirling flames. It seems to be alive, pulsing with otherworldly power that she can feel even from where she stands. Despite the danger that surrounds her, Xanthia feels strangely comforted by the warmth emanating from the brazier, as if it's protecting her from the darkness of the dungeon. We will just open the chest since that's what you guys wanted to do. Xanthia cautiously approached the sturdy wooden chest in the southeast corner of the room. She takes a deep breath and then lifts the lid to reveal its contents. Inside, she finds only a handful of coins, which seems like a disappointing find after facing countless dangers and navigating through the complex dungeon. However, Xanthia knows that every piece of loot is valuable, especially when it comes to funding her next adventure. She carefully counts the coin and places it in her pouch, ready to continue her quest for the princess. So we only have one door here, which we will go through. No mimic. No mimic. Unlike last time on the patron only stream, when you examine the chest now, what it reveals to you is what will happen. If that makes any sense. So if it describes the chest moving a little bit, probably going to be a mimic. If it describes the chest as trapped, it's probably going to have a trap. And so on and so forth. If it just says it's a normal looking chest, it's probably just going to have loot. But, OpenAI just has to be slow today. Good times. Good times. And if you guys are watching this, you probably should subscribe to my channel. Wanting subscribers. Need to get up to 1,000 before I can monetize YouTube. Good old YouTube rules. So please subscribe. Please. Pretty please. Cherry on top. Bribe you with VQ coins? Maybe. Just joking. But it is helpful if everyone likes and subscribes. It helps everything click along and, YouTube algorithm fun. Not that this has been a great live stream. And now the question starts to become is, do you guys want to continue on or should we actually end the live stream? Because I was planning on only going till 10 p.m. my time, but am happy to keep going if you guys want to continue watching this. Yes, we are almost up to 10 cents in dungeon cost. Hey, 54. It's only 56, so this could take another 3 minutes. 3 minutes of jokes, Stan. Go. Just waiting for another joke. Good times. Good times. This is quite frustrating, though. I would not want anyone playing the Dungeon of Despair right now thinking that this was the experience that I wanted. It's supposed to be nice and snappy, but we'll deal with it. As Xanthia entered the room, her eyes were immediately drawn to the portrait of the powerful Naga goddess Mir ruling the underworld. The portrait was ominous, with Mir's piercing gaze seeming to follow her every move. The room was dimly lit, with flickering torches casting eerie shadows on the walls. To the north there was an ornate desk with an intricately designed chair. It appears as if it has not been used in years. The archway on the east wall was unlocked, but it was impossible to see where it led. The west wall is adorned with a tapestry of the underworld depicting people being helped into a blissful afterlife by Mir herself. Other than these features, there is nothing else in the room. Xanthia couldn't shake off the feeling that she was being watched, but she knew that she had to push forward if she wanted to rescue the princess and escape from the clutches of Mir's dungeon alive. So lots of things to potentially do here. We will start with the desk. Do. Waiting for OpenAI is so fun. I'm going to have to redo this live stream and make it so it's responding normally. Yeah, this dungeon has been way more entrants. The patron dungeon was basically all just golden braziers everywhere, and that was kind of it. I think you had one chest and everything else was a golden brazier. This dungeon has had a wider variety of the possibilities. For sure. And I think it's like we've only found one of the two fountains so far, and we haven't found the altar. So I'm not sure where these things are, because this is my map so far. And we need to find other things before we can complete the dungeon. And I don't even know where they are yet. I mean, we've been to 12 rooms. But I guess that means there could be up to 8 more to look at, and we know where 1, 2, 3, 4 of those rooms are. So we know where 4 of the 8 rooms, 4 of the 8 possible rooms are. Whew. It's been a long day. Can't even talk anymore. But this is also making me want to have somebody else on these live streams with me to be talking to. It's kind of hard to just ramble on endlessly for 2 hours, especially when the game isn't fast and cooperating. But what can you do? 58. 01. It's been 3 minutes. Whew. Stan, jokes. Come on, save me here. Good times. Good times. I'm pretty sure that all 3 of those mirrors are just linked. But we'd have to step through them if we wanted to make sure. Yeah, we can't even interact with a freaking desk right now. Yeah, the mirrors can link to the mirrors don't always have to just be pairs. Mirrors can be linked in groups of as many as they want to be. And yes, they are all in rooms next to each other. All of the greens that you see on my map are the mirrors. Here. here, and here. Oh, I'm so bad at this live streaming thing. But I'll get better. I will get better. Because I have to. But this would be way more entertaining if it wasn't taking a day and a half to get this thing through. But all we can do is wait. And they seem to think that their system's fine. So I guess the next question for everyone here is, would you guys want to play with this UI, or do you want me to do a actual UI polish pass? Because I mean the UI is functional, it's just not great right now. I have so many ways I want to make it better. Xanthia approached the desk with an air of confidence, hoping to find some clues that would help her on her quest. As she rifled through the drawers, she found nothing of interest, only old parchment and empty ink jars. She let out a frustrated sigh. Knowing that time was of the essence, she glanced around the room once more, hoping to find some other useful item, but everything seemed to be in its rightful place. With nothing left to investigate in the room, she decided to move forward, her legendary axe and mace at the ready. There was no telling what other dangers awaited her in the depths of the cultist Amir's dungeon. Nothing interesting. We will interact with Mir's portrait. Just to see if anything happens. I mean, if you guys are okay with this UI, I could potentially release it to patrons next week, which means during the patron only live stream on Wednesday, we could actually do a patron only launch party and all be playing, which would be kind of fun. But no one would want to play if the game is like this. I completely understand that. As Xanthia approached the portrait of Mir, she hesitated for a moment before reaching out to touch it. She felt the cold surface of the canvas against her fingertips, and a shiver ran down her spine as if Mir's eyes were boring into her soul, searching for any signs of weakness. Xanthia quickly withdrew her hand and took a step back, feeling a sense of unease wash over her. She knew that she could not let her guard down in this dungeon, especially not in the presence of such a powerful entity. Nothing interesting. Xanthia approached the tapestry on the west wall as her finger ran over the intricate stitching, the image depicting people being guided into the afterlife by Mir, and it gave her a sense of comfort in the midst of this dark dungeon, of such darkness. The tapestry was soft to the touch and seemed to have a calming effect on her. She couldn't help but imagine what it would be like to be led by the Naga goddess into a peaceful afterlife. However, Xanthia knew that now was not the time for such thoughts. With a deep breath, she turned away from the tapestry and focused on continuing her mission. All right, back we go to a path we have not been down. I am very glad I have a map. As Xanthia walked in the room, she noticed that the walls were made of rough-hewn stone, and there were no windows in sight. The space was dimly lit by flickering torches that hung from rusted iron sconces on the wall. The floor was dusty and uneven, with small rocks and debris scattered about. Looking around, Xanthia saw two archways, one to the north and one to the south. They were both unlocked, but there was no indication of where they might lead. The archways were framed by ancient-looking stones, intricately carved with runes and symbols that she did not recognize. Aside from the archways, the room was barren. There were no furnishings or decorations to speak of, just or just the empty space between the walls. It was eerily silent, except for the sound of Xanthia's footsteps echoing off the walls. She couldn't help but feel like she was being watched from somewhere unseen. So literally nothing in this room. But away north. So we will go north and see what is there. Dun, 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 dun. The room was dimly lit by flickering torches on the wall, casting long shadows in every direction. The air was thick with the smell of damp stone and something else, something sinister that she couldn't quite place. Her eyes were immediately drawn to the archway on the south wall's dark opening beckoning her forward. In the northwest corner of the room was a sturdy wooden chest, its surface maused by scratches and scuffs. Xanthia felt a sense of anticipation and wondered what treasures might lie within. In the center of the room, a large pool, its surface black as night. A fountain in its center spewed out a never-ending stream of the same black liquid, an unsettling sight that made her skin crawl. Aside from these features, there is nothing else in the room. It was completely empty and devoid of any other furnishings, making her wonder what purpose it served. She couldn't shake off the feeling that there was something lurking in the shadows, watching her every move. Suddenly, Xanthia noticed movement in the shadows. Emerging from the darkness, a shadow hound slinked towards her. The beast was a massive dog-like creature with smoky black fur and eyes that glowed red in the darkness. Its razor-sharp teeth glistened in the faint light, and its muscles rippled under its sleek coat as it prepared to pounce. The hound let out a low growl, warning Xanthia that it was ready to attack at any moment. Yes, we found the second fountain, and we will take down the shadow hound. So that was Scorch and Fireball, Stab and Slice, and now Slice twice, and Stab and thing. If you notice, my dots actually appear over there, so that's when I know I need to reapply them or not. And you're just gonna die. So we win. Yay. Anyway, so this is what I expect the AI to actually, or the system to behave more like very, very snappy. Xanthia stood firm as the shadow hound charged towards her, its eyes glowing with a fierce intensity. She waited until the last moment before dodging to the sides, raising her legendary axe. With a swift strike, she managed to hit the shadow hound's weak spot, causing it to howl in pain. The creature tried to retaliate, but Xanthia was too fast for it. She moved around it gracefully and then struck it again with her legendary mace, this time landing a final blow. The shadow hound's body disintegrated into a cloud of black smoke, leaving nothing behind except a sense of relief for Xanthia. She dusted off her clothes and continued on her journey. And we have a chest and a fountain. Do we want to drink from the black fountain? Do we just want to open, or do we want to examine the chest? I'll let you guys decide while I examine the fountain and pray that it responds quickly. Hey! Xanthia gazed at the fountain with a mixture of unease and curiosity, her eyes fixated by the black liquid that flowed from its spout. The smell was foul, as if the water had been corrupted by something dark and sinister. She couldn't help but feel that this fountain was somehow connected to other items she had found on her journey. A hint that she was one step closer to completing her quest. But what could it mean? Only time and further exploration of the dungeon would reveal the answer. Alright, I'm just going to open the chest. Ooh. Xanthia approached the sturdy chest in the northeast corner of the room, her dark eyes shining with anticipation. She had come here on a mission, and this chest could hold the key to her success. She eagerly opened the chest, her fingers trembling with excitement, only to find a single item inside, a key. Xanthia's heart sank as she realized that she had been expecting much more. Nonetheless, she picked up the key and examined it closely, trying to discern where it might lead. She would have to keep searching and hope that this key would eventually unlock something of greater value. A key is fantastic. You never know what it's going to lead you to. All right. I think I know exactly where that key opens to. Doot, doot, doot. And we have a wooden door, and it happens to open that wooden door. I'm so glad I keep maps. We have the 3 doors, and then we have the one locked door. As the heavy oaken door unlocked with a soft click, Xanthia's hand moves gracefully from the key to her legendary axe and mace. She remained alert and poised, ready to face whatever lay beyond the door. Her leather armor hugged her lithe figure, accentuating her strength and agility. Her fiery red hair was tied back in a practical braid, revealing sharp features and piercing green eyes that surveyed the room with a keen gaze. Xanthia stepped forward, confident and determined to complete her quest, her weapons glinting in the dim light of the dungeon. So let's go through the door we just opened, see what's there. But yeah, maps are super important. Xanthia stepped in the room. She was immediately drawn to the imposing portrait of Mirror herself, ruling over the underworld with her piercing gaze. The painting seemed to be watching her every move, as if the goddess herself was keeping a watchful eye on any intruders who dared enter her domain. The heavy oaken door on the south wall was unlocked, inviting Xanthia to explore further, but she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being scrutinized from every angle. In the northeast corner, a sturdy wooden chest sat closed, its contents unknown, but likely guarded by some sort of trap or spell. The golden brazier in the southeast corner burned brightly, casting flickering shadows across the room and illuminating the portrait of Mir in an eerie glow. Other than these few objects, the room was empty and silent, leaving Xanthia to wonder what other secrets and dangers lurked within the dungeon's depths. As Xanthia turned to leave the room, she caught sight of a shadow hound lurking in the shadows. The beast was tall and lean, with sleek black fur that seemed to absorb all the light around it. Its eyes glowed a sickly yellow-green, and sharp fangs glinted in the dim light. The hound crouched, ready to pounce in any moment. A fierce growl rumbled in its throat. Xanthia could feel the creature's predatory energy emanating from it, and she knew that she'd have to be cautious if she hoped to escape the dungeon alive. And here we go with another battle, and I'm not at full health. We will see how this goes. I might make it out alive. Whew. With a fierce determination, Xanthia lifted her legendary axe and mace, ready to face the Shadow Hound. The creature snarled and lunged at her, but Xanthia's quick reflexes allowed her to dodge and counterattack. She used her fiery wizardry to create a burst of flame that distracted the Shadow Hound, allowing her to deliver a swift blow with her mace. The hound let out a whimper before collapsing, vanishing to a shadowy mist. Xanthia paused for a moment to catch her breath, feeling both relieved and saddened by the victory, but she knew that she had to press on in order to save the princess and stop the cultists of Mir from causing further harm. All right, what do we have in this room? Open. Oh. Sorry, I can see the request beforehand. Anyway. This is sort of a good thing, but I need to drink some water. Xanthia approached the chest with a sense of excitement and curiosity, eager to discover what lay hidden within its sturdy wooden walls. As she lifted the lid, she was met with a blinding flash of light and a deafening explosion that rocked the entire room. Shards of shrapnel flew in every direction, and before Xanthia could react, she was struck by the deadly debris, causing fatal damage to her body. The force of a blast sent her flying across the room, where she landed in a crumpled heap on the cold stone floor. It was clear that this was no ordinary chest. It had been rigged with some kind of explosive trap by the cultists of Mir, who would stop at nothing to protect their goddess's treasure. But just as her consciousness began to fade, a bright light enveloped her vision, and she felt herself being lifted up and away from her broken body. She could hear a faint voice calling out to her, urging her to return to life and continuing her quest. When Xanthia opened her eyes once more, she found herself back at the entrance of the dungeons, her wounds healed and her weapons restored. It seems that the unknown force had granted her a second chance at life, and she knew that she could not waste it. With renewed determination, she set out once more to rescue Princess Amelia from the clutches of the cultist Amir. Okay, so we will go back to that room. Dun, 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 dun. Done. Okay, so the chest got us. And there is nothing else in this. But we will interact with this portrait just in case. Well, we only have one unexplored place if my map is correct. If you're wondering, if you do examine and the chest is trapped, certain trees would allow you to disarm the trap. I've got this archway right here, Sneaker, that is a even archway. So this is a little E, meaning we can only pass through it on even hours. That is the only unexplored part that we have. And of course, this interaction is taking forever. It was doing well for a little while there, being pretty snappy, but nope, this one had to take a while. But yeah, so if you examine a chest and it says it moves slightly or hints at that, it's probably going to be a mimic. If it tells you it's trapped, there's certain classes that can disarm the trap and actually get the loot. Sometimes it'll just say it's a chest, which means it's probably just a chest and you can open it. We read the inscription, Sneaker, and it said there was a sundial with the letters 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 above it. I can show you when we go back there. So just like the DoD of old, that certain doors can only have the potential to be only passable during certain hours of the day. By the inscription, I'm guessing that one was an odd or an even door, but it could sit there and say daylight or in darkness or any combination of any combination of possible times. It's only open at breakfast, second breakfast, luncheon, afternoon tea, and supper. Or maybe just open for second breakfast. I don't know. We might not be able to. Not 11sies? No 11sies. All good hobbits skips 11sies. Maybe I should just pull out a book and start reading during all of this dead time. I actually tend to eat lunch at around 11sies, but I also tend to only have one breakfast, if I'm even up and awake at breakfast time. Because sometimes I'm up till like 5 o'clock in the morning, but I shouldn't admit that. Because you never know. Sometimes I stay up way too late. Oh, come on. I made this request at 18. It's been almost 5 minutes. I I get involved in writing this game for you guys, and it's fun, and I enjoy it, and I want to keep doing it, so I do. Xanthia reached out tentatively, her fingers brushing against the cold canvas of the portrait. She could feel the weight of Mir's gaze upon her, but she refused to back down. As her hand lingered on the painting, she felt a shiver run down her spine as if the goddess's power was seeping into her very being. But Xanthia stood firm, using the portrait as a reminder of why she was here, to rescue the princess and put an end to this cultist's dark rituals. As she turned away from the wall, Xanthia knew she had taken a small step towards fulfilling her mission. All right, so let's rush to the even door before it's no longer even. Oh, okay, so you can see here that it's saying the numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 inscribed around a sundial. That was the clue. This is a new room we have not been to. We will see what it holds. As Anthea entered the room, she noticed that it was dimly lit by a few flickering torches on the walls. The room was square in shape with plain stone walls and a high ceiling. In the center of the room, there was an old, worn-out rug, and aside from that, there was nothing else in the room. To her left, there was an unlocked archway leading south, and to her right, there was another unlocked archway leading east. The archways were unremarkable except for their size. They were tall and wide, making them easy to pass through. Looking at the archways, Xanthia couldn't tell where they led, but she knew that they were her only option. The atmosphere in this room was eerie and unsettling. It made her skin crawl. She couldn't help but feel like something ominous was waiting for her beyond these archways. Despite this feeling, she knew that she had no choice but to continue on her quest to rescue the princess. So, only one way to go. And we will go. And we're back to spinning. At least it gives me plenty of time to draw the map. Usually by the time I've drawn my little box, it would have already had the description up. But, you know how it is. So here's my map as it stands right now. But I think we're going to get trapped in here and have to wait an hour. Which will not be good. We need a mirror in here. Wow. Apparently we've missed something. Interesting. Anyway. Just waiting, obviously. And I'm actually scrolling through logs, wondering if we've missed something in this dungeon. But you never know. Never know. I'm just getting a little frustrated at OpenAI. But, what can you do? What can you do? I wanted the stream to go well. very, very well. But OpenAI is being OpenAI. The reason why I'm saying we must have missed something is because I can see what is trying to be described in this room, and it's not what I would have expected. Uh, it is again a dead end. Has a grand bookcase at least, but we have not found the altar yet. Ten, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Which means we might have to go poke some golden braziers. Oh, come on. Reply. Reply for me. But of course it's not going to. Hey. Well, I have a feeling we're going to fail because time's going to run out on us. Which would be awful. Poor princess. Poor princess. We must rescue her. Your princess is in another dungeon. There's always another dungeon. Or another princess. Take your pick. Oh my goodness. Hey. As she stepped into the room, she was greeted by the sight of an impressive grand bookcase that spanned the entire length of the west wall. The bookcase was crafted from a rich, dark wood and was adorned with intricate carvings depicting scenes of mythic creatures and ancient battles. Xanthia couldn't help but feel a sense of awe as she looked upon it. To her left was an unlocked archway on the north wall that seemed to lead deeper into the dungeon. The archway was simple in design, made of hewn stone, and adorned with nothing but a few flickering torches. Aside from these two prominent features, the room was empty. No furniture or decorations could be found, giving it a sense of emptiness that made Xanthia feel uneasy. She couldn't help but wonder what secrets lay hidden within the books, and the grand bookcase, or what dangers awaited her beyond the archway. We have time. I'll interact. Just to see. Xanthia approached the grand bookcase on the west wall, his eyes scanning the spines of the book that lined the shelves. She pulled out a few volumes and flipped through their pages, but found nothing of interest. Disappointed, she continued her search, pulling out book after book with growing frustration. After several minutes of fruitless searching, Xanthia let out a sigh and resigned herself to the fact that this bookcase held no useful information. She turned back towards the unlocked archway and prepared herself for whatever dangers lay ahead. So we will go through this door and go back through the even archway. And I believe it was this room. Nope. One of these rooms had a bunch of golden braziers. This one. No, this one can't be it. Nothing there. I'm just searching for places that might have a secret door at this point. We know that one. Xanthi approached the golden brazier in the rose, her hand hovering over the flickering maze. As she extended a hand and touched the brazier, she felt a sudden heat emanating from it, causing her to hesitate for a moment, but the adventurer within her prevailed, and she touched the brazier with her fingers, feeling the warmth spread through her body. Though she knew that the brazier had no secrets or treasures, she couldn't help but appreciate its beauty and the sense of calming it brought upon her. She took a deep breath and continued outwards to explore the dungeon, ready for whatever lay ahead. Okay. Xanthia hesitated for a moment and reached out to touch the golden brazier burning in the northeast corner. As their fingers made contact with the warm metal, she suddenly felt a jolt of energy surge through her body. The flame of the brazier flickered and died, leaving the room in complete darkness. Suddenly, a low growl echoed through the room, and a shadowy form materialized in front of her. It's a shadowhound, its eyes glowing with otherworldly light as it snarls at her menacingly. Xanthia readies her weapon, knowing that she'll need to fight for her life if she hopes to survive this encounter. But this dungeon is baffling me. It's hidden a secret that I cannot find. Oh, Xanthia took a deep breath and steadied her grip on her legendary axe as the Shadowhound charged towards her. The creature was fast and more agile than she had anticipated, but Xanthia was determined to prevail. She moved quickly, dodging the Shadowhound's attacks and striking back with precision blows of her own. As the battle wore on, Xanthia began to tire, but she refused to give up. With one final swing of her axe, she brought the Shadowhound down. The once fearsome creature lay motionless on the ground, defeated. Xanthia breathed a sigh of relief and wiped the sweat from her brow. Another victory for the books, she thought to herself. So not that one. No, nothing there of interest. I mean, there's plenty of golden braziers here, but we interacted with that. Golden brazier? Nothing. Xanthia approached the golden brazier, drawn to its warmth emanated. As she reached out to touch it, she hesitated for a moment, wondering if it was safe. But then, as her fingers brushed against the smooth, warm metal, she felt a surge of power flowing through her body. Her eyes widened, and a smile spread across her face as she realized that this was no ordinary brazier. The flames flickered and danced in response to her touch, as if recognizing her as someone worthy of the warmth and light. Feeling emboldened, Xanthia stepped back and ready to face whatever lay ahead with renewed confidence. But nothing. Oh. Interact? Nope. Xanthia's curiosity got the best of her as she approached the golden brazier in the southwest corner. Without hesitation, she reached out and touched the flame. Suddenly, the fire extinguished with a hiss, and a cloud of smoke enveloped her. As it cleared, Xanthia saw a shadowhound, its eyes glowing ominously as it bared its fangs. She knew that it was a fierce and dangerous creature sent to protect the dungeon from intruders like her. With her legendary axe and mace at the ready, Xanthia prepared for a wild and deadly battle. Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. It's already back to an even. But this dungeon holds a mystery that I do not understand, which is the fun of AI generated dungeons. Should have been more careful. And explored more thoroughly. It's possible, but I think the braziers are more likely. But we're also very long on the stream right now. But so far, only one person's pushed the like button. Darn it. But that's okay. I'm perfectly happy with a slow rollout of community, because I'm not sure I can actually sustain or deal with a full-on viral going from 0 to 10,000 player base overnight. Yay, we've got 3 likes now. Hey, likes are important for the YouTube algorithm. And now 4 likes. Thank you guys so very, very much. It's very much appreciated. Oh. I just wish OpenAI was doing better today. But so there is a secret door somewhere in this dungeon, and I don't know where it is. And I don't know what's going to unlock it. Which is exciting and fun for a game to be able to baffle the person that created it. Because that means the systems are all working, and it makes me happy when I can't know the outcome of the game, because that means I can play it, enjoy it myself. So do you want to start touching mirrors after this battle, or should we drink? Let's drink and then touch mirrors. Okay, I'll touch the other brazier in this place, but I'll drink first in case we get another shadow hound. I don't know if we can deal with another 30 minutes passing. Xanthia stood tall, her legendary weapons at the ready as the shadow hound charged towards her. With a swift move, Xanthia dodged the creature's attack and counterattacked with precision strikes. The shadow hound snarled and lunged, but Xanthia was too fast, too skilled. She struck again and again until the creature fell to the ground defeated. With a deep breath, Xanthia wiped the sweat from her brow and looked around, relieved that the battle was over. She said a silent prayer for the shadow hounds, hoping that its soul would find peace in the afterlife. Then she continued on her journey, knowing that more dangers lay at wait for her. Don't think we've interacted with this brazier. And so we will try it. As Xanthia approached the golden brazier, she felt a warm energy emanating from its flames. Without hesitation, she reached out and touched the sides of the brazier, feeling the heat seep into her leather gloves. As she made contact with the metal, she could feel a pulsing energy emanating from it as if it were alive. Her fingers tingled with an electric sensation that traveled up her arm and through her body. And for a moment she was lost in the magic of it all. But as she withdrew her hand, the sensation faded, and she continued on her quest. All right, so... Oh, we leveled up, so we healed. Cool. Don't need to go visit the... All right, I've got no other idea, so here we go. As Xanthia hesitated before the ornate oval mirror, studying her reflection for a moment before reaching out and touching the silver border. As soon as her fingers made contact with the mirror's surface, The mirror's surface rippled away like water, distorting a reflection until it vanished completely. In its place, a new image appeared, a room in this dungeon that Xanthia had not explored. She could see some stone walls, torches flickering on either side of a narrow passage, and a distant figure moving slowly away from her. With a sense of excitement and trepidation, Xanthia stepped back from the mirror and turned towards the unlocked archway, ready to press deeper into the Cultist Amir dungeon. Let's step in, see what happens. New room. Otherwise, it wouldn't be spinning. Oh, AI, what have you done? What have you done? This is the kind of stuff that actually makes me really excited and makes my skin actually tingle. It's like the AI did something I did not expect. I did not even know was within its capabilities because I did not explicitly code this, and yet it did it, and it just makes me go, "This is gonna be awesome. This is gonna be so awesome. This is gonna be a great game." I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones that this is gonna be a good game. Just can. I don't know. Now you guys probably just think I'm a complete weirdo. Xanthia took a deep breath and stepped through the ornate mirror with the silver border on the west wall, feeling a strange sensation wash over her as she crossed the threshold. Suddenly, she found herself standing in a completely different room. Its walls were lined with ominous torches that cast flickering shadows across the floor. Xanthia realized that she had been teleported to a new location within the Cultist Amir's dungeon, and she braced herself for whatever might come next. With her legendary axe and mace at the ready, she pressed on, determined to rescue the kidnapped princess and put an end to the cultist twisted worship once and for all. As Xanthia stepped into the room, the overwhelming sense of emptiness permeated through the air. The only decoration in the chamber rests on the south wall, a large ornate silver mirror bordered by silver. The reflection on the mirror is uncannily clear, but something about it feels off. It's just not quite reflecting reality as it is. The north wall is the home of an archway that is left unlocked, leading deeper into the dungeon. On the east wall, there is a rusting iron door that appeared to be locked tight, its hinges creaking with age. The west wall is adorned with What? We've been here before. Intricately carved with interlaced serpent statues, the door appears to be locked and devoid of any handles, leaving Xanthia with no other. The room's atmosphere is eerie and unsettling, like it's waiting for something to happen. As Xanthia gazed around at the locked doors, the rustling iron, she couldn't help but wonder about what secrets this chambers hold. No, we've been here. We have been here. This is the 3 doors. So it was not a new room. Boo. Step in. We will see. As Xanthia steps through the ornate silver mirror, the blah 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 blah, she felt a sudden jolt of energy coursing through her body. Her surroundings shifted and warped in an instant, and she found herself standing in a completely different room of the dungeon. And this chamber is much smaller than the last, with walls made of rough-hewn stone and torches flickering in sconces on the walls. Xanthia could hear the distant sounds of chanting with the occasional clang of metal on metal, indicating that she is still deep within the cultist domain. Though she is not sure exactly where she's not sure where exactly she is now, Xanthia knows that she must push forward if she has any chance of rescuing the princess. We've been here too. Interesting. So we have a north wall. So those 2 mirrors are connected. That means we can try this mirror. I only have one more mirror. That mirror actually errored. No room found to warp to. Interesting. Broken mirror. So it might be that something went awry in this dungeon. So I think this is the only other room with braziers we haven't interacted with. Cynthia's gaze was fixated on the golden brazier in the southwest corner. The crackling energy emanating from it was powerful and intense, causing the flames to jump and dance in a frenzied manner. She could feel the heat radiating from the brazier. Her skin was filled with her essential wonder. For a moment, she forgot about the heavy door and archway in the room and was mesmerized. Let's interact, see what happens. Just knock down all the braziers. Xanthia reached out and touched the golden brazier burning brightly in the southwest corner. As her fingers brushed against the metal, the flame suddenly went out, plunging the room into darkness. Panic gripped her as she heard the sounds of scratching claws and heavy breathing coming from the same corner. Suddenly, a shadow hound emerged from the darkness, its eyes glowing red with fury. Xanthia quickly drew her legendary axe and mace, steeling herself for battle. With a fierce roar, and the shadow hound charged at her, its sharp teeth bared, ready for attack. Ready to attack. Hey, at least the AI is responding quickly. Our OpenAI is responding quickly. I think I've got this battle. No, let's put the dots back up. And that should do it. Some of the dungeons are going to be hard. I do have the right now the difficulty is cranked to 10, or as high as it goes. Xanthia faced the shadow hound with a determined look in her eyes. She knew this was going to be a tough battle, but she was ready. She dodged the hound's first attack and countered with her legendary mace, hitting the hound's shoulder. The creature snarled in pain and lunged at her again. Xanthia sidestepped and swung her legendary axe, hitting the hound's head with a powerful blow. The shadow hound stumbled, giving Xanthia the opportunity to strike again. She delivered the final blow to the hound's neck, and the creature fell lifeless to the ground. The adventurer had breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that she had completed this part of her journey. Nothing. This one we've examined. Let's interact. Nothing. Xanthia hesitantly approached the golden brazier burning brightly in the northeast corner. She reached out a hand, fingers trembling as she neared the flickering flame. As she made contact, a jolt of energy shot up her arm, causing her to gasp in surprise. The heat was intense but not unbearable. She closed her eyes, feeling the warmth of the fire on her skin. It was though she was being infused with some sort of power, something that she couldn't quite explain. When she stepped back from the brazier, she felt more confident and focused, almost as if the fire had imbued her with its own strength. All right. This is a very hard dungeon. Xanthia approached the golden brazier burning brightly in the northwest corner, fascinated by its otherworldly flame. As she reached out to touch it, her fingers tingled with anticipation. Her skin made contact with the metal of the brazier. She felt a sudden jolt of energy coursing through her body. The flame roared to life, growing brighter and hotter as they enveloped her hand. She could feel the heat seeping into her skin, igniting something primal and untamed within her. Xanthia knew that touching this brazier had unlocked a hidden power within her, one that would aid her in her quest for the princess. Okay. Tapestry and an archway. Brazier. Interact. This is a very hard dungeon. Xanthia reached out to touch the golden brazier burning brightly in the southwest corner, but as soon as her fingertips touched the metal, the flame suddenly went out. With a low growl, a shadow hound emerged from the darkness, its eyes glowing with a menacing red light. Xanthia quickly took a step back, holding her legendary weapons tight in her hand. The shadow hound bared its sharp teeth and lunged forward, aiming it for her throat. Xanthia swung her weapons with precision, striking the hound with all of her might. After a few moments of intense fighting, the hound let out a final howl and disappeared into thin air. Wow, it just auto won the fight for us. But we actually have to fight. That was the AI embellishing. Put the dots back up, and now victory. The battles are nice and snappy, at least. Xanthia gritted her teeth as the shadow hound lunged towards her, its sharp claws ready to tear her apart. She swiftly dodged to the side and swung her legendary axe in a wide arc, landing a powerful blow on the beast's side. The shadow hound howled in pain and turned to face her again, but Xanthia was ready. She called upon her fire magic and unleashed a blazing inferno, engulfing the creature in flames. As the fire died down, Xanthia stood victorious over the defeated shadow hound, her heart pounding with adrenaline. With a deep breath, she continued on her quest, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Alrighty, nothing left in this room. Any golden braziers in this one? Nope. Okay, I'm running out of ideas here. If you have anything in your map. Just drank from the fountain. Oh, did we touch this brazier? Yep. We've touched that one. None of that one. I am running out of ideas and probably time. Oh, we've got two in this room. As Xanthia's fingers brushed against the golden brazier, and this is how she felt a sudden one of the flames that once danced and crackled with energy suddenly go out with a hiss, leaving her in darkness. Suddenly a low growl of rumbles another shadow hound. I forgot to note the time we entered the dungeon, so I'm not exactly sure how much time we have left. I'm guessing it might just be 6 minutes. Where, oh where? Where, oh where is the secret to this dungeon? Come on, you can do it. Spinning, spinning, spinning. But if we don't find it in the next few minutes, I'm gonna call it. I might just wait till we lose the princess, though, to at least have some conclusion to the dungeon, even though it won't be a happy one. Spin, spin, spin. Or I wonder if it made it so you don't even have to touch live. Is that gonna be a thing? Is that a thing? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Come on. Spin, spin, spin. We can certainly try that. I don't know if it's going to open the door or not. That would be my next best guess from this point. I just don't know. Xanthia raised her legendary axe and mace as a shadow. I'm not going to even bother reading that. Let's just go try that theory. So I'm at the fountain room. Let's go down, because this is where the 3 doors are. Let's examine. We know we don't have live, because we haven't found the altar. So let's go ahead and touch Argoth. We've got Argoth's blessing, and it's healing us. Xanthia hesitated for a moment before reaching out to the door labeled Argoth. As her fingers made contact with the silver surface, a sudden surge of warmth spreads through her body. She feels a calming energy radiating from her hand, and she senses that it possesses the ability to heal heavy damage over time. The gentle light that emanates from her hand glows brightly, illuminating the surrounding area. Xanthia is amazed by the power that this door seems to possess and wonders what other surprises await her in this dungeon. So let's go to the fountain, and it's healing us nicely. So we will touch. Do 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 do. Bum 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 bum. Or maybe the AI wants us to do this in reverse order. Who knows what it's done? Who knows at this point? I thought I knew the range of its capabilities, but I guess not. Xanthia extended her hand towards the fountain, her fingers glowing with their bright light. As she touched the surface of the water, the light leaped from her hand and radiated through the fountain. The glow was intense, illuminating the entire room with its brilliance. The water in the pool bubbled and churned as if some unseen force was agitating it. Xanthia felt a strange sensation coursing through her body, as if she was being infused with some kind of mystical energy. She withdrew her hand, and the glow subsided, leaving her invigorated and empowered. It was clear that there was something special about the fountain, something that could help her in her quest to rescue the princess. Okay. We will now touch Proloth. And we will see what happens. Xanthia approached the door labeled Proloth with caution. She hesitated, unsure whether to touch it or leave it alone. After a moment of contemplation, she decided to reach out and touch the silver surface. Suddenly, her hand began to blacken, and she felt a sharp pain coursing through her body. The energy radiating from the door is nothing like she ever felt before. It is dark and malevolent. Xanthia quickly withdrew her hand, feeling weaker than before. She realized this door possesses an ominous power that could cause heavy damage over time if touched. And now we need to beeline for the black. And we can't drink from this fountain, so we will not. Oy. Oy. That almost killed us. Are you kidding me? Oh, AI, what have you done? What have you done? What have you done? Dun 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 dun. Oh, come on, please respond. Please respond. I'm excited because, at least based on the description, it opened the door. Anticipation is terrible, isn't it? Oh, this is. But, like, this is what gets me excited about this technology. It's like you did things that I did not actually explicitly code you to do, which is mind blowing. It's like, really? I did not tell you to do that. That was not in your code. But I just do tell you to make a map that's solvable, which I guess you've done. It's just, ugh, I'm excited, full of energy, and wanting to just code this and get it out to people so they can play with it. And then word will spread. Maybe. Hopefully. But it's just amazingly cool. And know that the AI that builds the dungeons is not anything OpenAI has done. That's my own custom model. It's actually a tiny little model. It only takes about 30 minutes to train. Xanthia hesitated before dipping her hand into the fountain's black liquid. As she touched the surface, the inky blackness began to crawl up her arm, staining her skin and causing a searing pain to shoot through her body. The fountain began to steam, releasing an acrid stench that filled the room. When the steam cleared, she saw that the pool had transformed into a shimmering silver liquid, its surface rippling in the dim light. She knew that this was no coincidence, but a result of her actions, and she couldn't help but feel a sense of both wonder and fear at what she had unleashed. Back to the silver doors. No, they are not open. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Now I am completely baffled. Golden Brazier, Golden Brazier. Maybe? Dun 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 dun. dun, dun, dun. Again, OpenAI being slow. Boom, boom, boom. Dun 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 dun. Well, if this doesn't unlock it, I'll ask you guys if you want me to just wait hours until the timer runs out, or if we just want to call it. But the AI has done something to this dungeon. I need to figure out what. Because it's done something interesting that has me baffled. Because there is a way to complete it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be here. Dun, 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 dun. There are actually 3 ways to get defeated. Oh, 2 ways to get defeated and 3 possible victories in this dungeon. Waiting would just be the quickest. All the rest involve the princess, which we can't get to. Come on, OpenAI, respond. But I'll have to look to see how this dungeon was created to understand its secrets. What did you do? Or I wonder if you maybe replaced the altar with something that's not the altar. Ugh, that would be confusing. Maybe I have to take this blood to one of the portraits of Mir? Would you have done that? Maybe one of the tapestries? Now I don't even know. I don't even know. The joys of artificial intelligence outsmarting its creator. It's almost been 5 minutes. Or maybe outsmarting isn't the right word, but capable of producing a dungeon that the creator of the model isn't actually able to solve. Is anyone else other than Sneakers still here? Want to chime in on if this doesn't work, if we should just wait till the ending comes? Oh, come on. Spin, spin, spin. 7:15, 12. Should have just made a re-request. Come on. Respond. Dun 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 dun. There it goes. Did not open the door. So well, I will just wait. we were down to our last time anyway. Xanthia approached the door with Lithe above it, and hesitated before placing her hand on the silver surface. The moment her skin touched the door, she felt a sudden sensation of warmth spreading through her body. Oh, I think we actually have more time. This just killed me. The last thing Xanthia sees is the cultist dungeon with a dark corridor and hideous trap. She closes her eyes, anticipating the fate that's darkness. However, after a few moments of unbearable silence, Xanthia hears a voice calling out from a distance. She opens her eyes and finds herself standing at the entrance of the dungeon once again. It's as if she has never died at all. Xanthia realizes she'll be given another chance to complete her mission and rescuing Princess Amelia. Though death had claimed her 3 times in this dungeon, Xanthia is determined to emerge victorious this time around, and nothing will stop her from achieving her goals. Well, yeah, we did not have much time. We had 14 minutes left. Hopefully this will be a quick reply. Yes, it keeps tracks of how many times you've died. Oh, come on. Reply. Respond to me, OpenAI. Please? Pretty please with the cherry on top? Because this will be the final thing I have to read for the night. For those that are wondering, it's actually pretty difficult for me to read aloud. I am partially dyslexic. So if you see me stumbling over words, that would be the reason why. Or I guess partially dyslexic isn't the right thing to say. I am mildly dyslexic. Blah, blah, blah. This is all echoing something back. This is the new text. Xanthia's heart sank as she heard the scream that echoed through the dungeon. She knew that she had fallen and failed in her mission to rescue Princess Amelia. A dark energy reverberated through the dungeon, filling it with an eerie silence. Xanthia could feel the weight of her loss crushing her soul. As she made her way through the dungeon, she saw that the cultists gathered around the altar, chanting and performing their gruesome ritual. However, it was too late for Xanthia to intervene. The princess had already been sacrificed to appease the vengeful goddess of the underworld, Mir. Xanthia's legendary axe and mace felt heavy in her hands as she stood there watching the cultists celebrate their victory. She wished that she could have done something to save the princess, but it was too late now. The dark magic that enveloped the dungeon seemed to mock her as she slowly turned and left, feeling defeated and powerless. From that day on, Xanthia vowed never to let another innocent life fall victim to the cultist Amir. She would train harder and become stronger so that she could one day take revenge on the cultists who had taken the life of Princess Amelia. The memory of that fateful day would forever haunt her, but she would use it to fuel her to become a better adventurer and protect those who couldn't protect themselves. End of dungeon, sadly. And now we have to exit dungeon. Which makes me sad. We failed. But hey, failing works. We did try. But yeah, thanks for coming out and participating in the live stream. Plan to do public ones every other week and then private patron only ones every other week. So this will become a regular thing. Hopefully the next time we do a public one, at least patrons will have access to the game. Yeah, it was fun. This dungeon was certainly more interesting, and like I said, I'm gonna have to to go look at its construction and see how it foiled us. I have a feeling that we had to take live to something unexpected, something that was not the altar, but would have behaved as the altar. My guess would have been portraits of Mir or one of the tapestries, possibly. But, you know, it's exciting. Maybe I should turn the difficulty down a little bit and make easier dungeons. But what's the fun in that? We don't call it the Dungeon of Despair for nothing, right? Anyway, thanks to everyone for coming by, and glad some people showed up, and glad to show off the dungeons. And it's gonna be fun. Can't wait to let you guys actually play and experience it yourself and crawl through some of these. It's gonna be fun. Anyway, see you on Discord. If you're watching this and you haven't joined our Discord, the link is in the description, as is the link to join, as is the link to Patreon if you want to become a patron. Anyway, thanks everyone for showing up, and have a great day.